Welcome back everyone to the video, and today I am making my predictions for the NFL awards this year, such as MVP, Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year, and more. Just to jump right into it, I do want to just preface this video by saying that for my personal predictions for a couple awards, I did try and pick guys that aren't like heavy favorites because I mean, you know, it's pretty easy to go like Patrick Mahomes for MVP and stuff like that. And I'm not saying, you know, that's incorrect because obviously the player of his caliber has a chance to do that. But for a couple, I did try and go with some guys that I really feel like can make a jump for those big awards this year. And so I just want to kind of preface it by saying that like I know some might not be like the biggest odds, but I still feel like a couple of these guys could definitely win these. So real quick, just as a brief recap, I wanted to go over some of the awards that we're going to be covering because there's a lot the NFL gives out every year. So just like 25 seconds, 30 seconds, just going over the awards that we'll be talking about today. MVP, won by Lamar Jackson last year. We're talking about that in this video. Coach of the Year, won by Kevin Stefanski last year. We'll definitely be talking about my pick for Coach of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year, we'll be covering that, along with the Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year awards from last year, or I mean, for, you know, this coming year. And then along with those, the Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Years will also be predicting in this video. After that is when they kind of start to go with like the next gen stats, Moment of the Year. You'll have stuff down here like the, you know, air and ground player of the year, stuff like that. We're not really going to cover those. We're going to stick with basically just offensive and defense rookies of the year, MVP, comeback, and stuff like that. So, we're just going to get into it right now, starting with my prediction for Coach of the Year. And my pick for Coach of the Year is DeMeco Ryans, the Texans head coach. Now, I believe he actually tied with Kevin Stefanski last year. But Kevin Stefanski had more first place votes, so the award ultimately went to him instead. I think DeMeco Ryans gets it this year, though. The Texans, honestly, are improved from last year, and they were already great last year. Just some things on the left, I kind of have some, you know, kind of rough predictions for how I see this team shaking out. 12-5, I think it's very possible. I think they are the best team in their division. That's not to say that their division isn't competitive, but I do think that they are the best team. They're a big threat in the AFC as a whole, which says a lot because of the just how the caliber of teams in the AFC. I have their offense ending the season as around top 5 and their defense being around the top 12 mark. I could see defense being even higher than that, though, potentially, and I have them ranking first place in their division on the year. Not listed here. I could see them making like the AFC Championship or even Super Bowl. However, that doesn't really go into the Coach of the Year voting and stuff like that, so I didn't put it on here. But I do see the Texans being that good, and I think DeMeco Ryans is capable of winning the Coach of the Year award. I think he could have won it last year for sure. Not to say anything against Kevin Stefanski. He was a great finalist for it. I think he deserves that win too. But I have DeMeco Ryans winning Coach of the Year for this season. And then starting with Comeback Player of the Year, I do have Joe Burrow, and I couldn't help but use his new hairstyle for his picture on this. Now, I have Burrow throwing for 4,500 passing yards, 33 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and 3 more touchdowns rushing. This seems like a very kind of, I guess, too much of a guess. I mean, not too much of a guess, but it seems like a very bold prediction with those stats. Like, those are big numbers for any quarterback to throw, let alone a Comeback Player of the Year. But looking at Burrow when healthy, statistically, he's right around these numbers. And for me, you know, as long as Burrow's healthy this year, there's not really any changes to the Bengals roster that I think would not allow him to get near these numbers anyway. You still have Jamar Chase. You still have T. Higgins. You draft Jermaine Burton, who will probably end up being about the same production level as Tyler Boyd, if not even more. You bring in Mike Gesicki for tight end, who will definitely be your best tight end since probably Hayden Hurst was there a couple seasons ago for him. And you have Zach Moss now at running back too. I think this offense is still very, very good. A healthy Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You can go a lot of different directions with the Comeback Player of the Year award because of, honestly, a lot of the injuries from last season with, you know, Aaron Rodgers going down and, you know, Justin Jefferson goes down and Anthony Richardson goes down. So, you know, like, there's a lot of different guys that could get this, but I do think Burrow will be the best of them this season. So that's why I have him getting the Comeback Player of the Year award. But I do understand these numbers look pretty big, but I really think Burrow can hit them. And next I have the Offensive Player of the Year going to Tyreek Hill. Now, I initially actually had this kind of going like a quarterback, like maybe C.J. Stroud, but honestly, I think Tyreek Hill can take this award home. And honestly, I was going to use this kind of time to make a much bolder prediction and predict Bijan Robinson, which I think Bijan is capable at some point, but maybe not quite yet. That might be too rich of a guess, I guess, this early on. But I have Tyreek Hill getting it. I gave him 1,829 receiving yards, and I just now realized it's like the only guy I chose to have the yards be that specific. So whatever, we'll see how close he gets to that mark. 12 receiving touchdowns and 124 receptions. I think Tyreek Hill can absolutely hit these numbers. A healthy Tyreek Hill is one of the best receivers in the entire NFL, and he has gotten very close to 1,800 yards the past couple of seasons anyway. You just re-signed Tua. Actually, as of today, the Dolphins did just re-sign Tua, so you have him now on the team for the next 4 years, and Tua is definitely capable of allowing a receiver to put up these numbers. I think he distributes the ball great in that offense, and I think Tyreek Hill, the talent is not in question to get these numbers, in my opinion. I think Tyreek Hill can absolutely do it. So, again, like for pretty much all these awards, you could have went a lot of different directions. So, I think Bijan would have been a really fun one. I think Christian McCaffrey, of course, could get it again. And then maybe like CJ Stroud's like a quarterback could probably get it. But I do ultimately have Tyreek Hill being my guess for Offensive Player of the Year. And then this is one that I was talking about earlier when I said that it's going to be some guesses that really aren't as popular or on the like super heavy favorites, and Max Crosby is one of those. Max Crosby is an amazing defender. I think it would definitely be tough for him to win it over some of the bigger names like Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, but Max Crosby, he has the production level. I really think if he can get a bit more sacks so it looks better on paper, I think it'll help out his case. But he was like top 3 in defensive pressures last year anyway. He had like 92 or 93 pressures on the quarterback. So this is something that can get to the quarterback. He can make plays. And I don't think the talent is in question. Again, I think it's all there for him. I don't see any reason why he would be have like a regression year. So I have him getting 17.5 sacks to be a monster year for him. He had 14.5 last year, so a bit of an improvement I have for this year winning Defensive Player of the Year. I have 100 pressures, 95 total tackles, and 18 tackles for loss. This would be a monster a monster season for any defender, and I think it would be, deserving of the Defensive Player of the Year award. I think Max Crosby is able to put up these numbers. I think it'd be really cool if he won it, and I do think it's possible for him too. And then next for Offensive Rookie of the Year, I did pick Caleb Williams, who, yes, is a pretty heavy favorite to win this award, but here's the thing for me is that, for him to not win the award, because of all the hype around his name, because of all of the changes the Bears have made to make this a really, really good roster, it's going to take Caleb Williams having a very underwhelming year or another rookie just having such an incredible, historic rookie season. You just can't ignore it. That's the only way I can see Caleb Williams not winning this award. Because if Caleb Williams does have just an average season for a rookie quarterback, I think he's going to get the award. He has a ton of hype around him. This is a really hyped up prospect who's now walking into one of the best situations a rookie quarterback could really ask for. I think Caleb Williams has the talent to get these numbers. 3,200 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and 2 rushing touchdowns in his first season. I would not be surprised if the interceptions were actually a bit higher. In college, Caleb Williams did like to kind of force the ball at times and maybe play a bit of hero ball, but at the same time, I think he was kind of trying to just carry this USC team, like this championship level team that just they just weren't. So I think in the NFL it won't be as bad. I think he's going to be able to distribute the ball very well. I think he'll be a smart quarterback, and I do think he'll win Offensive Rookie of the Year. And then Defensive Rookie of the Year, it's very interesting because this was not a defensive-heavy draft up until, the 15th, 16th pick is around there, where, Latu was first off the board. And I actually thought about him for this award. I also thought really heavily about Dallas Turner for this award. But I have to go with Terrion Arnold for the Lions. This is someone that is super, super talented. He's going to a team that is going to be really good on defense. I don't see a reason why he couldn't be in the running for it. And that's why I have him getting 17 passes defended, 58 total tackles, and 3 interceptions. This is relatively similar to the rookie season Sauce Gardner had a few seasons ago when he won it as a corner. So I think Terrion Arnold really can put up these numbers. He's in a great defense. The talent is there, and he's a day one starter for the Lions. So they needed depth in the secondary. They needed starters. They went out and got it. I think they're super confident in Terrion Arnold. I'm super confident in Terrion Arnold. And there's no doubt he's confident in himself. So I have him winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. And as I said at the beginning of the video, I was not going to pick super heavy favorites for a couple of these. And one of those was my MVP guess, in which I have Jalen Hurts actually winning it this year. So I have 4,000 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and 14 more rushing. I think Jalen Hurts is absolutely talented enough to win MVP. I think it's a bit more of a question of how he performs this year at all, because 2022 was amazing. 2023 was pretty underwhelming. It wasn't near as good. So for me, the coaching changes of Brian Johnson leaving as offensive coordinator and Kellen Moore coming in, I think will do wonders for that offense. I think it will be much better on a similar level to the offense we saw in 2022 when they almost won the Super Bowl. You still have A.J. Brown, you have Devontae Smith, you have Dallas Goedert, and you bring in Saquon Barkley, who is very capable in the receiving game. So I think this offense is built to be very high powered, not afraid to push the ball downfield. I think they have the receivers to be able to make plays downfield, and I think they have the quarterback to be able to push the ball downfield and make plays with his legs. And when you can put up a lot of touchdowns statistically, it really helps your case to winning MVP. So I have 44 total touchdowns, counting his passing and rushing, with 12 interceptions. It will be interesting to see how the turnovers look this year, though, I will admit, because year one, he only threw like 6 turnovers, and then last year it was like more than doubled. So I would like to see him clean that up, but assuming he's passing the ball more, then that would probably result in more interceptions. So I still have him getting 12 interceptions. But again, 30 passing touchdowns, 14 rushing touchdowns, and Jalen Hurts winning MVP in that revamped Eagles offense. I definitely think it's possible, but if you guys do not, be sure to let me know down below who you guys think will actually win MVP or any of these awards. Let me know down below the ones you agree with or disagree with. Again, I tried to pick some that weren't like super heavy favorites, like Max Crosby and Jalen Hurts, and maybe even Terran Arnold as well. But, you know, some more obvious ones, like maybe Joe Burrow or Caleb Williams and stuff like that. So, yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe down below on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I would appreciate all the support there. Daily NFL content. You know, we do a lot of player rankings, a lot of team rankings, videos like this. Throughout the season, we do stuff covering the way certain teams are looking. We do weekly power rankings, weekly picks. So yeah, I would appreciate all the support there. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.